My name is Chris. I'm from Zoho partner team. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody for gathering Zoholics Japan 2018. Thank you so much for coming. So today, I'm going to present the Salesforce automation modules and automation in Zoho CRM. We're going to focus on workflows and blueprints. So basically, the business before 3 decades, 30 years ago, it was different. There wasn't a human touch. We will have sellers, buyers. There will be a specific place where the sellers, they will have all their products, and the customers used to walk in there, and they will check the product, the quality, everything. And there wasn't a human touch in that. The seller can directly address the customers, their needs. It was different. But now, everything is automation. Everything is online. So even in a country, they've been selling fresh air through online. Okay? So likewise, now it's completely different. So still, in Zoho CRM, you can address your customers through automation, because now the human crowd is very huge, and the businesses are like very, very different. Like different innovations, different kind of business. And still you can keep in touch with your customer very close. So today, we're going to see the basic automation, the basic terminologies. Our agenda is the basic terminologies and the sales cycle. And we're going to see what is a macro, assignment rules. We're going to see about workflow rules. And we're going to see what is an approval process and blueprint. Okay, so these are the basic terminologies in Zoho CRM. These are the modules which we have, unlike other CRMs. In a traditional CRM, you might not have the inventory managements. Like, you have the basic leads, contacts, accounts, and other modules. You have in Zoho CRM, you have inventory modules like products, invoice, sales order, purchase order, all right? Because in other CRMs, you have to integrate with any other third-party application to, manipulate the data and get in touch with the customers. So in Zoho CRM, it's pretty different. So again, we have data analytics, reports, dashboards, and you have customer support. In case if you have no products and the customers comes with some kind of problem, you can, it's not required for any other, another application to address those needs. You can manage those things under customer support. You have a case module and you have solutions module here. So coming back to the basic terminologies, lead. Lead is something. All right, I guess we have a problem here, it's switching on. All right, so lead is something like, like a fresh customer comes to your business, who would like to do a business with you. It's called as a lead. And, we don't have an assurance that this particular lead is going to do a business with you. So basically, you follow up the customer, right? So you follow up the customer through emails, calls, or you might have a campaign or event or task. You follow up the customer, and you will qualify the lead, and then you will convert them as a contact. So contact. All right. So contact is someone who is ready to do business with you. You have a set of qualified person. Okay, he's a contact. And account is again something, like a person who is working with an organization. It's called as an account. Deals. Deals module is something, it's opportunity, okay, which you have, this particular contact is going to do this business, and you close a deal. That is a deal module. So these are the basic modules in Zoho CRM. So let's see what is the sales cycle in Zoho CRM. So you run a campaign. For example, you might have an like an online advertisement, or you might conduct an event in any particular place, and the leads get generated. It's get into the Zoho CRM account, into your Zoho CRM, and all the records under one place called leads, and it will be assigned to your salesperson, okay, and they will be following up through emails, or or calls, or any particular place. They might get in touch with the customers. and they will qualify your like the business, the leads. Okay, and all right, just give me a minute. It's just keep on moving on. Let me just fix this out. All right, thank you, sorry for that. So now, in this slide, okay, so we were here. So the leads get assigned to the salesperson, okay? You might have a process for that, and they will follow up. The salesperson will follow up, and they will qualify the lead, and it will be categorized as a contact or an account, all right? And after that particular point, upon further follow-ups, okay, you can define a deal, whether the deal has been closed or lost. So this is the basic set, like this is the basic flow of your sales process in your Zoho CRM. You can manipulate your business by following this basic terminologies. So here we can see a lot of manual work. So like you're feeding in the information in your Zoho CRM, and you're following up emails, calls. So will this going to really help us to run the business very successfully? So what we are going to do is like, we're going to automate. Automation plays a major part in Zoho CRM and in your business. So what we are going to do is like, we're going to automate. So we saw that, let's have a business use case like, we have a business where each and every single day, a lot of leads are loaded into your Zoho CRM, and you follow up, okay? The salesperson follow up, and then like you will categorize whether it is a qualified lead or unqualified. You will find the like the core interest of the crowd, okay? So like the same thing has been repeated again and again. So if it is a very small leads or very small set of leads or small set of customers, you can address it with two or three salesperson. If it is going to be like a huge lead, for example, if I have a web form where each and every single day 15,000 to 20,000 records are getting into my Zoho CRM, I don't have an option, okay, to like it is highly impossible for you to check all these records one by one and follow up those things. All right. So to address that particular problem, what we have came up with like something called as macro. So the salesperson is going to send an email, like he's going to follow up through a task or follow up through a call, and he's going to update a field like initially the lead is being contacted. All right. So I have a web form, 10 to 15,000 records are getting in, and the salesperson don't want to watch each and every single record, each and every single customer. It's not like that. You can address that particular issue very easily by creating a macro. So macro, basically it performs a set of actions to a group of records, okay? So what you have to do is you have to choose a set of records, and you have to single click. With one single click, invitation mail will be sent, okay? A task will be created, and it will be assigned to any other person, and a field will be updated, okay? So you can achieve these things by using a single click through macro. And macro, like it supports 3 modules, which are leads, contacts, and potentials. So this is how it looks like. So you have to give the name for the macro, and you can describe what it does. So you can associate email template. So here I have associated something called as leads welcome email. So the leads are getting into my Zoho CRM, and once it has been, the lead has been generated in my CRM account, I will just click on this macro, and automatically an email will be sent, and 3 fields will be updated. According to your business requirement, you can associate any 3 fields, and you can create 3 different tasks, up to 3 tasks you can create. And you can share this macro. For example, whatever like a higher hierarchy person is doing, that will not be accessible to the lower hierarchy person. So, but in macro, you can share to all the users in your Zoho CRM. Doesn't matter if he has the if he has the role or profile permission, it is equally shared to him. So this is all about macro. So now we have seen what is a macro is. All right. So as I told you before, for example, here the business is, it's completely online. You have a website where a lot of leads get into your Zoho CRM, okay? And you have to manually go and assign all those leads to your users. So it's completely, like it's a tasky job. You have to, find out what are the leads which has been loaded into your Zoho CRM today. So to address that particular complex issue, okay, this is in a complex situation for you. So we have come up with something called as assignment rules. So in assignment rules, okay, you can predefine, all right, you can predefine the assignment process. For example, like if, let's consider, okay, we have a huge crowd across the globe. You're doing a business across the globe, all right? And when a lead is being submitted through your web form, okay, and he's from Japan, all right? And the Japan salesperson has to follow up that customer, okay? You can define those things, and you can assign that particular record to the salesperson automatically by using the assignment rule. So here the criteria is, like the lead source is from advertisements or web form. So likewise, you can specify the criteria, all right? And you can do the assignment rule to the specific user. So here I have given like Chris and William. So whenever the records which is being getting into your Zoho CRM through a web form or an advertisement, and the lead source, for example, the lead source is web form or advertisement, it will be automatically assigned to the other two users, which you have specified over here. And again, here a value-added thing is you can, you can assign a follow-up task. So this is the lead assignment rule. Likewise, you can create the assignment rules for all the modules, and basically here in assignment rule, it works whenever a lead has been getting into your Zoho CRM through web form, and you can use the assignment rules when you're importing data. All right, that is the major part here. So for example, we have a lot of customers migrating from other Zoho CRMs, migrating from other CRMs, all right? So, it's really a tasky job for the person who is doing the migration, and he cannot assign the records, one by one to other users, okay? If you have an assignment rule, just you have to choose any assignment rule which you have created before, and you have to do the import, and automatically the records will be assigned accordingly you have configured. So now we have seen what is an assignment rule is. So workflow. So workflow, we're going to see a workflow. What is a workflow is? If it is going to be this, then it's going to be that. For example, if it is going to be, if it is going to rain, obviously you need an umbrella, okay? For example, if somebody met with an accident, someone has to call the ambulance, all right? So here in Zoho CRM, what you're going to do is, if a specific set of criteria is met, some certain action has to be executed automatically. You're going to automate that, all right? So through workflow, what you can do is like, you can send an email, you can create a task, you can update a field, you can call a webhook call, and you can do in a custom function. You can execute in a custom function. And there are two types of execution here. One is instant action, another one is time-based action. So instant action is, for example, so here the criteria is, all right, so the deal module, okay? The amount is above 50,000. And once Zoho CRM knows the amount is more than 50,000, the rule get executed. So whenever the record has been created, the rule get executed. And here the criteria is the amount. So you can specify here it has to be executed immediately or 2 days, after 2 days. So here we have time-based actions. So after 2 days, the rule get executed. So this is the basic configuration. This is how you have to configure your workflow rule. So here, basically you have to enter the information here, and then you have to specify the trigger point. So the trigger point is when a record has been created, or when a record has been edited, or whenever a record has been deleted. So that is the trigger point. You can specify all those things here, and you can specify the criteria. The criteria here is like the fields inside your record. Okay, whatever the fields which you have inside your record that is considered as a criteria, whatever you like specify there, when the condition is met, the set of actions will be executed. So that is the execution part. So let's see, like a small demo which I have already configured. Let me show you how it works. So here, workflow rule. So I have a welcome notification email. Okay. So I have configured for deals module. So the basic trigger point is when the rule has to be triggered. We can configure it by, we can configure it by specify when the record has been created, when a record is being created or edited, when the record has been edited or deleted, or whenever a field is being updated. So these are the basic trigger points. And here you can specify the criteria. So you have two different set of two options. One is the fields inside your lead module. These are the fields inside my lead module. For example, I'm going to specify it as, let me choose any option. I'm going to specify it as when the checkpoint is checked. Okay? When the checkpoint is checked, the rule will be executed. Or you have an option, whatever the leads gets into your Zoho CRM, the workflow rule will be executed. For that, you can choose all leads. All right? And here, these are the actions that can be associated. So I have associated already a welcome email. Likewise, you can associate, like a task. As I told you before, a task can be assigned, or a webhook can be called, or a custom function can be associated. So that's all about configuring a workflow rule. All right. So now the data is into your Zoho CRM, and you have some automation which you have specified previously. So do we have any hold for your users, okay, to follow the process? So we have the data, it's in your Zoho CRM, and do we have any option to define the process where the user has to follow the same process? Because you might have different opportunities from different areas, from different countries, all right? So for example, in Japan, timing is a matter, all right? So there should not be any, any delays. For example, you have a deal, and you have to constantly follow him up, and you have to achieve the deal, means timing matters, all right? And there should not be any missed follow-ups here, all right? So you can, by using a workflow, you can automate your data, the data, what has to be done to the record that has been defined. But here you don't have an option what the user has to do. So to address that particular feature, to address this particular situation, we came up something which is called as blueprint. So in blueprints, okay? All right. So in blueprint, we have an option. We have an option to, streamline the process. Okay. So what your user have to do, you can enforce your user like this has to be done. Okay. So what you can do is like you can enforce the user to collect information, more information. All right. So blueprints basically it works for pick list field. If you have a pick list field, for example, it's a deal module, you have different stages like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So upon changing each and every single stage, okay, what actions need to be executed, that can be defined in a blueprint. So this is the basic design of a blueprint. The box, like the box with the only lines, that is called as a stage. That is the stages which you have in your, in the pick list, in your deals module or any module, okay? And the in between the green box is called as a transition. So whenever you are changing from stage 1 to stage 2, all right, what will happen is like the actions can be, that can be configured, that can be associated, whatever the set of actions which we had for workflow, that can be associated. here in the transition. So when you're changing from one stage to another stage, these set of actions will be executed. So let's see how a blueprint works. So here I have a blueprint which has been created already. So that is a big deal closure process. So here the use case is whenever a huge deal is being created, okay, automatically the blueprint kicks in and it will enforce the user to follow up which I have defined previously. So these are the stages which I have in my Zoho CRM, and this is the transition. So it defines during this transition what has to be done. So the user has to collect a note, and if you want to add something to that, you can you can just give the user have to add an attachment, okay? And after that, once it has been transferred from one stage to another stage, you can associate you can associate emails, email templates, or you can associate a task, the same set of actions which we had for workflow. The same set of actions can be specified over here in blueprints. So this is the one which I have already. Let me just show you a new one, how to create a blueprint. So I'm going to just give a random name, test. And here you can specify the criteria when the blueprint has to be executed. So I'm going to give it like the amount is more than 10,000. All right. So these are the stages which I have in my deal module, value proportion. And I'm going to, like this, you have to click and drag and drop, and proposal. So this is the transition. So once the blueprint is executed, you can, like the transition, whatever the action which has been configured, that will be executed. So you have to give the transition name, and you can specify what the user has to do. So here I'm specifying user has to add a note, or the user has to add an attachment. And this is the automation process, like which we have already. So here you can associate a welcome note or an email, or you can like associate a task, a function, likewise. So when switching from value proportion to decision makers, okay, stage 2. Again, you can define what are the things that has to be done. So the users will have a strict process of following up things, okay? So you can identify what the user has to do. So that will be followed up by the user accordingly. And now we have something approval process. All right. So, okay. Exit this. Yeah. All right. So in the approval process, okay. So here the business case is like if the user, okay, he is doing like a deal which is more than 50,000, okay, that has to be notified. That has to be notified by the CEO or any other sales manager who is in a higher role. Okay, so by using an approval process, you can achieve that situation very easily. Okay, so what I will do is like I will give in a criteria, and once the criteria is met, the record access will be the user will not have any option to access the record. He can access the record, but none of the information can be entered into the Zoho CRM. All right, that will be assigned to another hierarchy person. He has to approve it. So once it has been approved, he will be, like the user who have created the record will have the access, and again, he can move further with the deal, all right? So once, like it has been approved, a set of actions can be configured here. For example, if it has been approved, a set of actions will be configured. If it has been rejected, another set of actions can be configured. So that is all about approval process, okay? So these are the automations which you have in Zoho CRM. So let me just give you a quick summarization what we saw today. So in the basic sales cycle, you have all the modules in Zoho CRM. You have leads, contacts, accounts, and deals, and activities. The things which we have are like tasks, events, and calls. These are the modules which we have inside Zoho CRM. And we saw about macros. So macros is a set of action which has been executed to a group of records. And we saw what is an assignment rule is. So assignment rule is, for example, a lot of records are getting into your Zoho CRM that has to be assigned to a specific set of people. Then you can use assignment rules. And we saw about approval process. So you have any peculiar or very important deal that has to be approved or that has to be notified to any higher role person, then you can use the approval process. And we saw about workflow rule automation. So a set of actions will be executed to a set of records when the condition is met, that is workflow rule. And blueprints, it's completely streamlined the process, what the user has to be followed. It's defining the complete process. So that's all about automation in Zoho CRM. If you have any queries in this automation part, we can discuss offline. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.